Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real metaphysical and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. Today, we're going to be continuing our series on the Goetia. So hopefully you all enjoy this topic. We are doing this live in front of the Working Dragon Mystic community. If you are watching this on YouTube, it will be by replay only. But if you would like to join us live, then by all means, join the Working Dragon Mystic community. It's free to join. These topics are free to join us live, and you will find links to that community below. All right. Now, with that said, let's get into this particular spirit. And if you are watching live, as we're going along, if you have any questions, feel free to type in your question, because after I present the information on this particular entity, we will be going into a Q&A. The Q&A will not be part of the replay, just so you know that. All right, so let's get into this. We have our normal format that we will be following as usual. Got my notes here, so if I look to the side, I apologize. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Okay. So, the 66th spirit of the Goetia is Kamese, or Kamese. Kamese. Is how it's, Kamese is usually Kamese. Yeah, Kamese is how I've always heard it pronounced. There's two E's in there, and part of me, when I'm looking at it, wants to try and get the E out, but it just doesn't work. I go with the spelling that's actually on the sigil, which we were talking about the sigil. So no, it's earlier than we normally do. Let's go ahead and get that on the screen here for the replay. For those live, it was the sigil. So there you go. Okay, appearance of this particular spirit. This is a short, sweet, straight to the point one. Appears like a valiant warrior riding upon a goodly black horse. Does it? That's the only description we actually get of this particular entity. Because of that, when working with this entity, appearance-wise, myself and a lot of my colleagues, like what the warrior presents as has changed practically every time we've worked with them. Sometimes it's more of a knight in shining armor. Sometimes you got the samurai. I've even seen something more along the lines of, I guess you would say, traditional ninja garb, Taoist monks, Celtic warriors, Vikings, soldiers. I've seen quite a few personally myself. One of my friends have even made mention that on occasion it has appeared as like a Zulu warrior. So that one's not shown up to me personally. I think that'd be cool myself, but there you go. And a good black horse, and goodly black horse. I've always taken it as to mean a good horse, like an actual genuine good horse, a horse that you would want, is how I've always taken it. And for the most part, that's how most people I know have said it. Other people say goodly can mean pleasant, friendly, kind. I get that. But at the same time, I see it leaning more toward the actual good, functional companion horse, kind of a war horse that one can rely on in truth. Pardon me. Most common associations with this entity: rank, it's a marquise. Metal most often associated with this entity is silver. The planet most often associated with this spirit is the moon. And the color most often associated with this spirit would be violet. And the element most often associated with the spirit would be earth. Okay. Original purpose. Okay. So in the Goetia, if you was actually to get a copy of the Goetia and he was going to read what this particular spirit can actually help you with in the Goetia, it would state, he ruleth over all spirits in the parts of Africa. His office is to teach perfectly grammar, logic, rhetoric, and to discover things lost or hidden and treasures. Now, that perfectly grammar, I'll be honest, that hurts my head to read it, because that does not sound like grammar to me, but I know that things, the way we speak, have changed throughout the years. All that, different dialects, different areas, different stylizations. I constantly have to remind myself of that, because man, that was hard for me to read. Then again, maybe I'm the one with the screwed up grammar. But that is what it would state. Okay. And as many people have pointed out when you read the Goetia, some of these things don't sound very applicable to the modern day, right? And when we're talking about the kind of flowery, poetically written tomes like the Goetia, it might not help your modern grammar. Might not do it at all. So what can this actually be good for? And then there's the lost or hidden things, right? So this is where in modern times there have been a few things that myself and colleagues have actually had really, really good results with. And that's what we're going to go in here. First off, aid in helping one appear charming and strong so that they can command respect of all who encounter you or them. Okay? Now, I want to be clear here. This makes you appear charming and strong so that you can command respect. There is a difference in commanding respect and actually being respected. Okay? So commanding respect will mean you will be treated as respected while you're there. Doesn't mean that the person actually respects you. So it's respect only on the surface, if you really will. And I would actually say having true respect is far more powerful than just commanding respect at the moment. But at the same time, this can get your foot in the door. This can help you in very specific situations, help you sway a meeting or a job interview in your favor. And then from there, you can build on building the actual, true, real respect. So yeah, it can be very helpful. Next is help in dealing with subconscious fears that weaken you. This one's a big one. We've talked about shadow work before on the channel. We've talked about shadow work in the community. In fact, in the community, we have a topic coming up on shadow work. And shadow work is dealing with the subconscious, the fears, the dreads, the traumas, all that stuff. So this is actually one where you could work with the spirit to help with your shadow work by helping you to deal with those subconscious fears that weaken you. Here's the kicker. This entity is going to start digging up those fears to present them to you. You're still going to have to face them. You're still going to have to deal with them. And the entity will help you, but you're still going to have to deal with them. So don't approach this. If you're already maxed out and stretched to your limit, don't think you're going to go to this entity and that's going to help you with those stressors and, take that pressure off. Because all the things that's giving you those pressures, they're already in play. This entity is going to find something to put in play that you don't know is there, right? So be very, very careful with this. Is it probable that this entity could take something that's putting pressure you don't know about and relieve pressure? It could. It is probable. Is it worth the risk? I would say no, because if there isn't something you're unaware of, then you're going to put something on the table that could break you. I would say that's not worth the risk, but that's just my 2 cents. It's your life. Do as you see fit. Next, help to find lost objects. Okay, whether you lose your keys, your ID, whatever it may be, this entity is actually fairly good at helping you find lost objects. I actually have a friend down in Florida. I want to say he's in Key West these days. Is it Key West? I think it's Key West. Anyway, it's somewhere on the eastern coast of Florida there. And he actually runs a salvaging business. He works with this entity daily when running his salvage business in order to find wrecks, to salvage the wrecks. And actually, he's had really good luck. He has located treasures, flat out, straight up, full-blown treasure hunter kind of treasure that he's been able to bring up to the surface in his job and his work. So he does work with this entity in helping to locate wreckages and the like as part of his marine salvage, which I think is a really cool way to go, right? Like, honestly, if I could get my wife to agree to it, that sounds like a good retirement. Really does. Somehow get a boat, just putt around out in the boat, have the money to, on your retirement, you putt around, look about finding some salvage and stuff and bring it up and make some money. Because to me, even if I never found anything, putting around in a boat sounds like a good retirement to me. Absolutely does. But the lack of internet and other things, my wife might not like it. I don't know. Next, you got help to open up communication with a person. Okay. Now, this is helpful. There's a lot of people I know of who have messaged me, emailed me. It's like, hey, I've fallen out of contact with this person. This person's mad at me. They won't talk to me. I met somebody. I don't know how to start the conversation. When it's opening the line of communications, that's generally the major question, no matter what the drama may be. And because of that, here it is. This entity is great for opening a line of communications with a person. One caveat to this to remember if you are working with this entity. This person should be a person that you can realistically interact with. Okay? It should be someone that you can actually interact with, someone that knows who you are, has a way to contact you, or someone you can bump into and actually have a conversation with, right? It is unlikely that if I ever was to use this, I could get some celebrity that I like or would like to sit down and have a conversation with about whatever Aladdin wants, to contact me, because they don't even know I exist. They don't got my phone number, nothing like that. It would be extremely, extremely unlikely for this entity to be able to push through an etherical pattern to open the doorway to that, right? However, if there is somebody who knows me, they have my phone number, even if we haven't talked in years, that would be a probability. Now, do they still remember my number, or do they still have it on their phone, would come into play, because it has been such a long time. Even my mom has lost my phone number because her phone died. So, you got to take that into consideration. There are limitations, but at the same time, even if it's not somebody let's say you go to the same coffee shop every day, the same person's there every day, and you're hoping to strike up a conversation somehow, that could happen. If you've just recently had a fight with an individual, they got your number, you can contact them, they're avoiding you, however, you could do that. Now, also, if they're already mad at you, yes, it could open line of communications. That does not mean it's going to make them exuberantly friendly. They're going to still be mad at you. And it's going to be your job when that line of communication opens to broker the peace. Okay? So you better set your ego aside and broker the peace before all else, if your goal is to actually pursue and fix the friendship, the relationship, or whatever it may be. Because until the peace is brokered, everybody's going to be volatile as hell, and you could just slam that communication door closed again, right? I've seen it 1,000 times. You get the door open, and then you slam it shut because you just can't set your ego and your emotions aside. Sucks, but it's true, right? And that's actually it. Normally, right now is when we would show the sigil, but we showed that at the beginning this time around. So we are done. My personal workings with this entity, in all honesty, I've had some good luck with this one. Finding lost objects, I've had some decent luck. Can't say I've had as good a luck as my buddy in Florida, hands down, gotta admit. Though that is a great use of working with an entity that finds objects, honestly. Actually, the ones that specialize specifically in treasure, you might want to consider that if you into like combing beaches with metal detectors and stuff. I have used it for communications with people a time or two. I'm usually pretty good with people and conversations in general, so I've only really had to use it when I could not get in touch with the person, and I tried to use this to get them to get in touch with me. Or for whatever reason, like I'm trying to get a hold of them and they're never home. I would also use this to make sure that when I reach out to them, it actually sets it up so that they do answer the phone. They are there. They can pick up the phone. But that's really kind of it. The first one, like the charming and strong, I've never personally used that one. I probably should have on a time or two. I mean, luckily I am somewhat, I guess you could say, charismatic or charming for whatever reasons, I've been told. And, well, the evidence kind of holds too. But that's one I've just never used. but I do, like I said, I know a lot of people who've used it and had a lot of great work with it. But it doesn't give respect. It only gives, that momentary respect so they'll listen at the time. You have to build the genuine, authentic respect over time as you build a relationship, no matter what. Okay, so remember that. Don't think this is automatically going to plug you in and make you respected by everyone in that room just because you did this thing. Okay, that is a pitfall that I have seen happen quite often. All right, now with that, everybody, you all have a great day. And if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever, remember, check us out at the workingdragonmystic.com community. You'll find links below, and you can join us live and make sure your questions get asked live while we are still in the chats. All right, take care. Bye-bye.